The chapter opens with Road and Nami returning to the village in Svala, accompanied by giant guards they've brought back. Nami, clearly disappointed, grumbles about the lack of a massive treasure in the castle they explored. Road, ever cautious, attempts to hush her, anxious that the guards might overhear her complaints. The scene shifts to Ripley and Frankie, who are touring the majestic treasure tree Atom. Frankie is awestruck by the sheer scale and wonders of the tree, remarking that it exceeds anything he could have imagined. Ripley shares that giants have lived atop its branches for generations, each limb steeped in history and stories. As they continue, Frankie spots a massive branch that has been severed, though part of it remains attached to the tree. Astonished, he exclaims, "Whoa! What is that?" Ripley explains that a village called Haugen once thrived there until a lightning strike set it ablaze. The ancient branches, once ignited, burn relentlessly, and to stop the fire from consuming the entire tree, the giants had to cut off the branch, village and all. Frankie reflects on the tough decision, noting that even a legendary tree like Atom isn't immune to the ravages of time. Ripley adds that lightning and fire are considered Elbaf's only true weaknesses. The narrative cuts to the western village, where a lively party is underway. Nami rejoins a very drunk Usopp, who slurs his words as he asks where she's been and where Luffy and Zoro, whom he calls Luby and Roro, have gone. Nami brushes it off, suggesting they're probably exploring. Usopp, swaying, agrees it's a good thing. Jarul, an elder giant, approaches their table, prompting Usopp to loudly praise Nami as their genius navigator. Jarul compliments her beauty, and Usopp teasingly asks about Jarul's type. Jarul laughs heartily and declares he prefers older women, sparking Usopp to leap up and whack him on the head with his sword. Jarul yelps in pain as Usopp cackles, claiming no such woman could exist since Jarul is the oldest in the world. The surrounding giants rush to their master's aid, calling out to him. Nami, now seated beside Jinbe, watches Usopp's drunken antics with a fond smile. She mentions that visiting Elbaf was a dream shared by Usopp and Luffy. Meanwhile, Sanji notices that Gerd, a key figure at the party, is absent and sets off to find her. At the same time, Road escorts the giant guards to Gerd for treatment. When Gerd inquires about their injuries, Road evasively tries to conceal the truth, only for Gerd to beat him up in frustration. The story then shifts to Luffy and Zoro in a place called the Underworld. They discover Loki, battered and near death, bound in chains. Luffy attempts to free him, but falters when he touches the chains, which are made of kairoseki, sea stone, a material that saps his strength. Zoro cautions against releasing Loki immediately, insisting they first assess his character. Approaching Loki, Zoro kicks his wound, eliciting a scream that confirms the injury's authenticity. Luffy protests that Loki is on the brink of death, but Zoro coldly replies that if Loki dies, it's simply his fate. Though Luffy calls him harsh, Zoro reluctantly agrees to free Loki, leaving one kairoseki cuff on his ankle as a precaution. Luffy decides they need a doctor. Chopper is too far away at the Owl Library, so they settle on the village doctor instead. Zoro warns that freeing Loki could lead to their banishment if the giants find out, but Luffy shrugs it off, prioritizing medical help. He also insists they need meat for recovery, eyeing defeated animals nearby. When Zoro suggests using them, Luffy snaps angrily, calling them his friends and vowing to hunt in the mountains instead. Zoro concedes after Luffy's heated outburst. As Luffy prepares to head to the village, a sound from above interrupts him. Hadrudin and his crew, accompanied by Sanji, come plummeting down on a giant ship. In their haste, they bypass the elevator, only to find no island cloud to cushion their fall. In a breathtaking double-page spread, Luffy uses his Gomu Gomu no balloon technique, inflating his body to catch the falling ship. Hadrudin weeps with gratitude as Luffy's swollen form halts their descent, but the impact rebounds with such force that everyone, except Gerd and Sanji, is hurled away again. Eventually, Hadrudin and his crew reunite with a badly injured Luffy, thanking him profusely. A fall from that height would have been fatal. Hadrudin then pleads with Luffy to reconsider freeing Loki, warning that he's a cunning, cruel, and irredeemable villain, an enemy to the world who will betray even those he calls friends. Zoro mutters that it's a bit late for that, leaving Hadrudin confused. The chapter closes with a dramatic final scene. In an absolutely epic double-page spread, Loki rises to his feet, the kairoseki cuff still on his left ankle. His colossal size towers over Luffy, who looks minuscule in comparison, his face shadowed with rage. The new giant warrior pirates gasp in shock, crying out, "It's Loki!" Luffy, stunned, exclaims that Loki should still be unconscious. Hajrudin glares as Loki grabs his weapon, Ragnir, meaning Iron Thunder, with a malevolent smile setting the stage for a tense confrontation.